How long did he hang out with you? Like, did he live in your house? Not literally.
You're trying to get the dirt that nobody else got. You don't know. Like,
the nice dirt.
Did you guys pretend to be married?
Stop it.
No.
Exactly. No, we didn't. No, you know what? It was just the first day. They stayed from whenever I picked him up, I think it was afternoon, until later evening. Then I picked him up the next day at the Holiday Inn Express where they stayed, which was awesome.
Nothing but the best for the coop.
Right.
Look, I said, we have nice places in Fort Worth and Dallas and whatever. And they're like, no, we just want to keep it low key. So the two of them just drop off Clint and Bradley, and they're just walking into the Holiday Inn. Nobody else is there.
Can you mention the front desk guy at Holiday Inn Express? Like, your last name, please? Cooper. First name, Bradley.
Yeah, exactly.
Eastwood.
Okay, so I asked him about that. Because the next morning I called to see when they were ready. I'm like, I would have given anything to be a fly on the wall from the front desk person, right? And he's like, well, she either knew that we were coming or she played it off. He's like, because we walk in and we gave her our fake names, kind of with a chuckle, because it's kind of obvious, right? And so she said, and she just played it off like no big deal, got him their room keys and whatever. But he said the next morning when they left, she had a copy of Hangover for him to sign. So he's like, so she definitely,
she knew.
Yeah, she
they might
up.
be used to people wanting some anonymity in that hotel.
And then, right. And then
Holiday Inn Express.
Had to ask him for his credit card for incidentals.
Yeah.
Mr. Cooper, can I
could I just get it? Yeah.
So when did you start writing your book?
Wow. It was sometime, obviously, after Chris was killed. And I don't exactly remember when. I know it took a long time because Jim DeFelice, who wrote American Sniper, he's a friend, and we just started talking and working it through. And really, I was just emotionally vomiting on him every day. And then he had to organize it and figure it out.
Was it like therapy?
It was probably your grieving period, because right after Chris died, you were thrust into the spotlight so quickly. Did you even have time to process what was happening?
Well, actually, that's a very good point. So I have very little concept of time, honestly, since Chris was killed. It's been such a whirlwind. But we were working on the movie first, and then after the movie was completed, we started on the book. So I guess it was quite a while afterward. And it's a little bit therapeutic, but it's also a little bit like you have to face stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd like to outrun it, and I'd like to not deal with it sometimes. But I think it was healthy to have that time where I had to stop and deal with it and figure some things out. But I don't come to any really amazing answers either, because I'm still in the process.
Right.
What's been the toughest part for you? Because I'm sure you're still young, and a lot of I've read a lot of Marines say, or people in the military say, that if something happens to me, I would love for my wife to move on and be able to experience love.
Right.
And I can only imagine that that's extremely difficult for you, because you seem like such a loyal wife to Chris Kyle.
Right. It is. It's something that I really have a hard time with. I can't quite make sense of it, because I feel that loyalty thing. And just a quick story. My son, the other day, we were in the car, and he was asking me about this mutual friend of ours, and are you happy as a girlfriend? Yes. Are you? Yes. He was like adamantly yes. And I said, oh, okay. And I kind of laughed, knowing that he must have worried somehow that I was going to date that guy. And I said, so I laughed, and I was like, so you want me to die a lonely old shrew? Is that what you want? Like, just giving him. And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't want me to have any love again? And I was still smiling and playing with him. You don't want me to have any love? Nobody loved me. And he's like, I love you.
That's enough.
Okay, right?
Boom.
Like, that's a son,
Boom.
whatever. So, right, exactly. So it's sort of that whole thing. But then there's and I'm busy and I'm loyal and I have all of that. And then there's just sort of like a nagging somewhere in the back of my head, just going, really? Is that the rest of your life? You're never going to open yourself up?
Right.
I just don't have the answers. I just know it's going to have to be somebody amazing and somebody that can let me keep all of that I have for Chris alive and well, and grow something else.
Chris is always going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your story.
Right.
Are you still wearing your wedding ring? Is that, I see a ring.
Yeah. I try to switch it to the right and like deal with it. And I don't know. I don't usually pay attention to material things or symbolism that much, but that one I can't quite
I hear you.
get past it.
So what is the story of, is it just your story, An American Wife? Is it about the experience of military wives? What is the book?
Well, so I think what we found with American Sniper, the book and the movie, is that it was really sort of every veteran's experience, honestly, from Vietnam War, before that even, and I think it'll be the same story for people in the future. It's just a very common thing. If you're going from the battlefield to your home life, how do you navigate that? And it sort of fills in the gaps that we couldn't put into the movie and the book, because you just can't put everything into the first copy or edition of something. So this fills in some of those blanks. It tells what's happened since. And I also think really it's for I think all of us have that love, war, faith, and renewal in our lives. It may not be war in the traditional sense, but I think we're all struggling with something. We're all trying to find our way back. We're trying to figure out how we lean into faith. So yeah, it's just my story, but I think it's kind of a lot of people's story too.
And I'm excited about this because that was my biggest issue, other than the fake baby with American Sniper, is I didn't feel like, I know it was about his life and relationship with the military, but I didn't feel like there was enough about his relationship with you.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like you were in the movie enough, really, and your character and your personal life. So I'm excited that this is going to shed a little more light on that.
No, I appreciate it because I was good with it the way it was, but I also know being a woman, you always want to know more about how the woman was doing and how they navigate that. And I know there are a lot of military wives who called me afterward and were like, thank you for giving us a voice, because they had people contact them after the movie saying, I was with you for all those years and I had no idea. Was this your story too? And they were like, yes.